What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And today I just watched Space Jam: A New Legacy 2 hours ago, and it's something. So let's talk about it. All right. So first off, if you guys notice, these are all the Lego Looney Tune characters from the series, except their accessories, because let's be honest, the only accessory that you need for them is basically Marvin's gun, because that's kind of all you need. The rest of the accessories in here are basically so you can complete, like Carrot, sure, thing, sure, basically all these, sure, but you really don't need it. So basically, I've been saying basically a lot. I'm going to be giving my review on Lego, not Lego, Space Jam: A New Legacy. So, of course, it is a sequel to Space Jam, which was an old, I think, 1996 movie that came out starring Michael Jordan, and he was a popular basketball player back then. So they decided to make a movie based on them. And the Looney Tunes, there was supposed to be a couple other series, like a golf movie, a whole bunch of other space movies involving sports and Looney Tunes. There was supposed to be a whole bunch, but ever since Back in Action, it kind of flopped really hard, so they just decided to hold off on that. So a couple of years later, not a couple long, so of course it was released 25 years ago. So a sequel comes off right at, right, I guess a couple of years after the first. I don't even know. It doesn't tell you when the second one takes place. It kind of forgets about the first one. And the whole game, he's like, "Oh, we're bringing a team together to stop another team of basketball," and they're like, "Oh, it sounds familiar," and it's like, "Oh, it's a reference to the Space Jam." But I kind of got really mad because I really wanted a Michael Jordan cameo, which we did, but we'll get to that later. So, if you guys don't know, spoiler alert for this, I'll probably say that in the title. So the beginning of the movie starts off with LeBron James's backstory of how he became a basketball player and how he fell in love with Looney Tunes. It was a Game Boy that he fell in love with and playing it, and then the coach said, you got to keep your head in the game. And of course, he decided to quit playing games and start playing basketball. You get a whole montage at the very beginning, which I thought was pretty cool. Of course, the montage, I thought it was really cool. Said all the actors. Zendaya is actually a different voice, and for Lola, which she gets a lot of changes since the first one. I'm not going to get into that much detail after that. But yeah, you get a whole montage at the very beginning of LeBron James' his story of basketball, which you guys can go watch that on HBO, which that's where I watched it. So, and then at the very kind of beginning of the movie, we get introduced to his son. I don't know who it's played by, but it's his son, his fake son and wife and daughter. It's his own fake family that he does not have in real life. But of course, yeah, I thought the movie, I'm not going to really keep doing that for the whole video because it'll be really boring if I do that. So basically, to sum it all up, so I'm not recapping the whole beginning of the movie, basically what happens is his son likes building video games, which he builds his own basketball video game, but his father wants him to play basketball instead and forces him kind of to play basketball instead of what he wants to do. That's kind of the message at the very kind of end or middle of the film. I don't really know. But yeah, later, and then you get introduced to their family. The wife's like, "Oh, you should listen to your son and let him do what he wants to do," and that's what he wants to do, make video games of basketballs. Which later, of course, funny enough, it's the game that they play at the very middle, all the way to the end of the film. So basically what happens is the very beginning half of the film is the origin story of how all this goes down. And at the very middle, it's the basketball game, then all the way through to the very end of LeBron James hanging out with Looney Tune characters, which is pretty strange, but oh well. But anyway, in the beginning, then they get a call or something from Warner Brothers. Of course, they go to Warner Brothers so they can meet these people, and they're like, "Hey, we want you to be in a whole bunch of movies LeBron James and Harry Potter and stuff." And I'm kind of like, okay, I would not want to see that, but cool. And he's like, nope, I don't want to. And yeah, there was a villain in the movie, LG Rhythm. Sorry, it's just a really hard name to remember. So LG Rhythm gets jealous on Don Cheadle's. I'm just gonna call him Don Cheadle's character because I'm not really gonna talk about that. Say his name all the time, but LG Rhythm is jealous and he sends a whole bunch of messages or something to. Then of course that was before. I think that was before the meeting. I don't know. But basically, I'll skip that part. Basically, what happens is that the sun goes wandering off in like the first or second stories, and kind of go up, and they find his like the serververse. That's what they call it. I think it's a pretty cool name. But they find that, and then they go in, and then he's like, "You need to play a basketball game." Of course, basically like the whole 30 minutes of the whole film, they're basically looking for players. You go on Looney Tunes World, which Don Cheadle's character LG Rhythm has like a side kind of buggish character. They call him a name, but I'm not really gonna look it up. You guys can go watch it if you guys want to do that. But his little side minion character, I'll call him, and he's like, send this dude to the rejects, which are the Toon Squad, and he goes down there. And Bugs Bunny, we figure out, is the only Looney Tune left on Looney Tunes. He's been lonely. Lonely. But, of course, he's been the only character, so he's lonely and he acts crazy and a whole bunch of stuff like that. So he rounds up all the characters because, of course, LeBron James wants to get Superman and a whole bunch of other characters, but Bugs Bunny really doesn't want to do that. He wants to go reunite with his friends and have a good time with them and stuff like that. So I really thought that was a bit emotional and cool and kind of cool in the film, but they don't really capitalize that on the movie that much. They kind of just say that and like, okay, next plot. So basically they play a basketball game the whole time and they learn to kind of, they don't really have any rules, so they just do whatever they want. The whole game, Bugs Bunny dies because of a virus earlier in the film that explains that. So yeah, that's kind of the whole film. And let's get to the good. What I liked about the good. So the good was the animation and the live action. I thought the tunes looked really cool when they were in live action. I thought that the whole game thing was really cool and funny. I thought it was really cool. But then throughout the whole film, I guess I'll say that in the negative, but at the very end it's cool because Bugs Bunny's alive. But if you're not a kid and you're kind of older, like 14 or 15 or above that age, and then Bugs Bunny dies, usually could be like, oh, but we're like, he's gonna return. It's a Warner Brothers movie. It's a Looney Tunes movie, so of course Bugs Bunny returns because he's a Looney Tunes and he doesn't die. So yeah, that's cool, I guess. But other than that, let's talk about stuff I liked. I liked all the references to other films. I feel like it was kind of too much. It's like when you have a movie of a kid's room or something. Like if they have a movie of a kid's room, they have a whole bunch of stuff like, oh, it's a Spider-Man comic. Oh, look, it's that. And there's like a whole bunch of stuff. So, of course, you go to Matrix. You go to Mad Max, which was really cool. Of course, DC and Wonder Woman. Just Wonder Woman. And they have to rally up all the people so they can go. And The Matrix was probably my favorite one because I thought it was pretty cool. Because we're getting Matrix 4, which I said, oh, I guess it's a teaser for Matrix 4. But it clearly wasn't. So I thought that the movie itself was a good movie. I thought it wasn't bad. It wasn't really bad. It wasn't horrible. People said it was 20 or 38% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is pretty harsh. I thought the movie was good. The main movie was good. But the thing that ruins it for everyone is the main character himself, LeBron James. You could tell that he's never been in acting before because, no offense to the basketball player, but Earlier in the film, he says, "Oh, basketball players would never be actors or something," and he's saying that in an own movie where a basketball player is playing the main character. Wow, like, did you really have to do that? But other than that, there's more. The whole film, he seems very energetic and all crazy and all, yay, we won, and all, like, really? Like, he was all energetic, too energetic. Like, there's a time when they win, and they're like, yes, they win, yes, and you do that. But in the whole film, he's like, yay! He's jumping up and down with the biggest smile on his face. Like a little kid that just got a lollipop for the first time. And it tastes amazing or something. Or he got 16 bags of ice cream. And he chugged the whole thing before he did basketball. Like, it was just way too out there. And then later, he's like, in the beginning of the film, he's like, well, I want you to play basketball. Who cares? And stuff like that. You'll be better at it. And he's like, and then I relate with the kid. He's like, really? Like it was just really bad. That was the only thing that I really didn't like about the film. The only thing. It's really sad because the film was really good. I thought it was good. Maybe a bit too much references, but LeBron James himself really just killed the film for me because at the very beginning, I was watching with my parents, but my dad started pointing out about that stuff at first, and I thought it was not that bad. But when you get in the basketball part, it's just so bad. It's kind of horrible, and it's really sad because we've waited 25 years to get a sequel. Well, some of us have waited. Some of us really thought that the first Space Jam was enough. And they thought some people really didn't like the first Space Jam, so they didn't want another one. But Warner Bros. Was like, hey, we own Godzilla. We own King Kong. We own a whole bunch of people. We own the Jetsons, Flintstones. Let's shove all these in a multiverse type movie and then make a whole film about it, which I thought Space Jam: A New Legacy was not really, kind of a miss for me. So I just thought that his acting was just really bad. Not bad, but just like you can feel that they shot everything in one take. That bad. Like, they really just, like, if Robert Downey Jr. acted like that in an Iron Man film, the MCU would be over very soon. It would be over very soon if they didn't hire Robert Downey Jr. But he did a good job, so they have a full-on franchise. Well, I did hear rumors that they were going to do a whole franchise for, like, a crossover movies for all these characters, which was really sad because some of the movies were that were planned. Michael Jordan does make an appearance. Michael B. Jordan, so that was a hit in the chest because it was like, funny, but where's the real one? And that would have been a really cool end credit scene for a third. Or maybe LeBron James and Michael B. Jordan team up together to stop a more ultimate villain. But nope, not going to do that. So we'll just make LeBron James look like it's his fourth birthday that he ever had. And he's excited to blow out the candles every time that he's on screen. It's kind of like that. And when the parents are very excited that when the kid opens the toy, he really likes it a lot. So, of course, they're kind of jumping up and down on the inside. He shows all of his emotion like it's a movie. I felt like I was watching Tom and Jerry, but just differently. Which I didn't do a movie because they didn't have Lego minifigures and I'm basically a Lego minifigure person. Tom and Jerry, we'll just talk about it a little bit, was kind of horrible. It was horrible. It was worse than this. They've been trying to do live action human and cartoon movies. They're doing Smurf movies again. They're doing Smurfs. They can't just make a full-on cartoon Looney Tunes movie with no characters in the beginning. Just make a movie with a bad guy in cartoon world, add the CG, do what you did with SpongeBob. Okay, Sponge Out of Water, do that. Not that bad, but just do that. Like, make them look all CGI, but make them their own movie. Make them a cartoon, do that. But no, we gotta always add these characters and stuff like that. So it's just really kind of bad. I was looking forward to the movie the whole time. It was the only HBO Max movie I was looking forward to. I thought the trailers looked good. Everything, I thought it was going to be a great movie. I waited this whole summer to see it, and I finally see it, and it's just a really big waste kind of time. It's like Black Widow, kind of like Black Widow. There hasn't been that many good. I think the only good films that have come out, I don't even know, this year. I think Suicide Squad, but that hasn't even come out yet. But I think that's the only good film that will come out of HBO because it's directed by James Gunn. That's the only one. Space Jam was the one I was looking forward to. Tom and Jerry was just... Both of them were really bad. Because Tom and Jerry, they don't talk in the first place. The characters act like they never seen... Like, they act like... Usually you have a good actor who's acting in a film with a CGI character. It's kind of hard, right? Because they're not really there. You have to act with, like, a stick puppet, which Sonic kind of did a really good job at it. They did a really good job. I like that film a lot. But just Tom and Jerry and LeBron, I don't even know what was wrong. But just... Something about those two films really kind of connected together as bad. Tom and Jerry was worse, probably a 4 out of 10. And this one's probably a 7 or 6 out of 10. 6.5, I guess. Because the acting really just pushed it. The whole film I thought was ridiculous, but the rest of it I thought it was a good film. But as soon as it got to the acting, like the little boy, the mom, the little sister, even funny comedy characters, even Don Cheadle himself, I thought they were doing great, but LeBron James stuck out like a sore thumb. Like if I took a white piece of paper and put a black dot on that white piece of paper, you'd be staring at that black dot more than you would be staring at the white piece of paper, because that sticks out a lot. The whole film is kind of good. The voice acting, cool. Zendaya was good. Everything was good. The actors did a great job, but no offense, once again, to the basketball player. Once again, listen to your line in the movie. Basketball players should not be actors because they have not trained for their whole life to become an actor. They train their whole life to become a basketball player. Sorry that I'm being a bit negative, but it's kind of true. You gotta take it. And it's true that the movie that I looked forward to this whole summer, and I kept waiting every day. Space Jam comes out in 2 weeks. Space Jam comes out in 2 weeks. I was like, I was waiting. I was happy. And it came out. I just thought it was a big disappointment. Overall, Speedy Gonzalez was good. Taz is always a good thing to watch. Once again, Lola Bunny, Zendaya was good. Porky Pig, the only character that I don't have. I have the pig. I forget the piggy one. The Mrs. Porky Pig. I have her, but I just don't want to put her in here. I thought Granny was good. I thought that all the characters were good. Bugs Bunny stuck out as a really good character. Marvin the Martian, I'll talk about you in a minute. Sylvester, good character. Tweety, I really liked in the movie. Wile E. Coyote, really good. And Roadrunner, I thought they were good. Marvin the Martian, though. Okay, so Marvin and LeBron kind of kicked it. It's like when you kick a soccer ball and you kick really hard and you just damage your foot. And you kick it with your toe. You know how you're not supposed to kick it with the toe, you kick it with the side? It's like I took a soccer ball, it was implanted in the ground, I kicked it as hard as I can, or heck, even kicked a wall as hard as I can. That's kind of what I felt. As hard as you can. But with Marvin, I kind of just kept kicking it a little, but not as fast as I did with LeBron, because that probably doesn't make sense to any of you guys. But anyway, Marvin the Martian really was unused in this movie. He makes 2 to 3 cameos in the film. And we were going to get a live-action Marvin the Martian movie, and I really wanted to see what he looked like with CGI, but all you saw was a little thing coming on his head, a platform that was going down. Every time, boom! Just fell every time, and it was just really lame. It was really lame. Sorry, Bugs. But the whole time, Plank coming down, all the time, I was just like, do we really have to do this? Like, do we really have to do this? Because I thought Marvin is a very interesting character. Marvin was never my favorite Looney Tune, but I wonder what they would do with him in the movie. With nothing. They did nothing. They did nothing with him. As you guys know, Space Jam: A New Legacy was really cool because we got new Lego minifigures for the Lego people, but for the actual fans of the old film, I think that some of them really liked it. I thought that the merchandise for the film was really good. I thought the merchandise was actually better than the film. Like, the Funko Pops looked all nice and cool, just like Funkos. But of course, the movie itself wasn't good. I would give it a 6.5, because I did give it before I was going in an 8, because I know it was going to be 100 because it's a Space Jam movie, and it's usually cartoony and for little kids, so I knew it was going to be 100, but I didn't know it would be that bad because the acting for LeBron James was just horrendous. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really sorry if you guys love LeBron James as a basketball player. I think he's a great basketball player, but in the movie himself, as an actor in a movie, do different things here. He's just not a good actor in the movie. In real life, sure, but in the movie, not that good. But overall, if I could give a letter, I would give it a C+. I give it a C+. I would make Space Jam customs, which I was kind of planning on, but maybe I will still, but nah, I don't feel like it anymore. Because, well, I just like having the Looney Tunes all together, because if you guys did not know, yes, these characters are changed from the original, because, of course, I do want to keep the Looney Tunes characters around. Like Roadrunner, he was Woody Woodpecker. How did he become back to Roadrunner? Who knows? Sylvester's legs were used for someone, and yeah, it was kind of it for all of them, and Roadrunner was completely took apart. But all the accessories are gone, but who cares? Who really cares? I think the only thing that you would want is maybe a bat or a weapon, or maybe a carrot for Bugs and Duck or Rabbit season or whatever one. Figures itself, good. Movie, nah. Missed the mark entirely. Not worth the wait. I didn't really wait that long because I wasn't born back in 1996, but I didn't really wait that long. Thought the movie was good, not the great. Just thought it's a miss. Hit or miss. It's a hit. It's a miss for me. So yeah, tell me in the comments below, did you like Space Jam: A New Legacy? Are you hoping for a third installment in the Space Jam? And tell me your ratings in the comments down below. Give me as much hate as you possibly can, because I know that you guys will come out for an excuse for me saying, well, the film was bad, and something like that. So do your worst, I guess. Nope, seriously don't. But yeah, I think it was a miss for me. But other than that, I thought that the characters and the side characters, the only bad things were the use of Marvin the Martian and Taz, kind of a little bit for Taz, but he was used way more than the first movie. The only ones that were a miss for me was for Marvin a little bit, and LeBron for his acting skills. But if they nailed those two, maybe add a bit of better script, I think that this would have been a really good second installment for Space Jam. That's kind of sad if you think about it, because literally two things and maybe a bit of editing to the writing or something would have made this film better. Maybe explaining why Bugs is sad and explaining to the Looney Tunes that he missed them. I wanted heart-tugging scenes, not scenes that are being like, oh, he's gonna come back in the next scene. Whoop-de-doo, it's a Looney Tunes movie. I wanted something like, oh man, we missed you too, Bugs, or something like that, because I think it would have been a really cool thing. But nope, instead, we get bad acting from LeBron James. And no Michael. I would have, if I could have asked for the film, I know I'm dragging this on for too long, I would have asked for an ending for the Bugs Bunny kind of loneliness thing. Michael Jordan, actual Michael Jordan reference, not a reference, but actually pointed out in the film directly, and Marvin the Martian being used, and LeBron James bad acting being better, and maybe a couple of the changes in the script. But other than that, I thought that the villain was good. I thought that Don Cheadle did amazing. I thought it was funny. And yeah, other than that, that is my review for Lego. I guess I'll say Space Jam: A New Legacy review. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. If you did, remember to leave a like. If you guys did not, just leave a dislike. If you guys really just don't, but that way I'll be able to tell who didn't like the video. So maybe I'll do better quality in the